Hey man, how you doing?
Hello, James Cox. How are you doing today? Good,
All right,
sir.
it's been a fantastic Monday because my leg is almost healed. So
Praise
yeah,
be.
so that's gonna be awesome if it heals 100%. How about
Yeah.
you?
Oh
What are
man,
you doing
happy
on this
Monday
Monday?
to you and Yorn and to our listeners. Hope your week is full of wonder and excitement and music, and I hope all your dreams come true.
Oh, not nice.
Oh, gearing up for dude. I'm gearing up for my wife's birthday
Hmm?
on April 10th. We're going back to Disney. That's why I'm wearing my new Disney hat here. For those who are watching
Yes.
um, on the YouTube channel, I've got a nice little hat I bought from Etsy that says Parkappa. It looks like a lot like the Patagonia hat.
Right. Yeah.
They have now for Disney or Disney nerds. They're we're gonna be nerding out a lot today, just to
Well,
say
a lot.
the
Yeah.
least, a lot about a lot of different things. But I'm a Disney nerd. I love Disney World. I love Disney everything. And they are now doing park hopping again. They had to stop because of COVID, so you can go to Animal Kingdom for the morning, and if you want to hop on over to Hollywood Studios in the afternoon, you can do that. So I've got my Park Hoppa hat. I'm ready to go. Also, visually, I've got for those watching on the YouTube channel, since we're going to be talking about comic books today and music, I have my officially licensed Wakanda Wu Tang crossover shirt that
Yeah.
seen here on the sleeves.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's got the emblem of Wu-Tang Clan, and it's got
The Black
Black
Panther
Panther. Yeah.
emblem. Yep.
Right. Yeah. That's
So
awesome.
Wakanda forever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Big ups to Chadwick Boseman. May he
Yeah.
rest in peace. He will
Yes.
forever be my Black Panther.
Yeah, hey man, that dude was a beast because I heard that he worked on several movies while still having cancer, and that's
Yeah, so I think he
yeah,
found out he was dying. He found out he had cancer. I think when they were filming Captain America: Civil War. It was around the time
okay,
that he got sick,
okay, yeah, yeah,
and he was able to film and film and film leading up until he passed.
right,
Uh, he's from South Carolina.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
and there's a special monument. I forgot where it's at, but somewhere in I think in his hometown, there's a special monument to Chadwick Boseman.
okay,
Uh, they have that they've put up, and rightfully so. The guy was an incredible person in general, but an amazing actor, bringing to life one of my favorite comic book characters and doing it so well. Just
yeah,
his portrayal of T'Challa was incredible.
right,
I'm really glad that he was able to be a part of Endgame and Infinity Wars and just a lot of these big Marvel Cinematic Universe movies that came out.
yeah.
Um, and he was able to
I
be a
think
part of it.
I think that they can't that they went ahead and canceled Black Panther too because it's like
Yeah,
you can't
you can't.
no right
It's going to be difficult. They're going to move forward with stories that take place in Wakanda,
yeah
probably more surrounding his sister Shuri.
nice nice
And so that'll be cool. I'm excited to see that. I know that they had big plans for Black Panther too,
right
um, and I hate that they won't be moving forward with that. But in several interviews with a lot of people involved, Kevin Feige, the director, everybody that they've interviewed, they said you just can't replace him.
no
Chadwick Boseman cannot be replaced.
no
And to bring someone else in would just be insulting in a lot of
yeah
ways.
yeah
So I don't know what they're going to do. Marvel
that's
Studios is really good about figuring that out, though. So I'm
yeah.
confident in whatever it is. It'll be right. It'll be done right.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just like you said, we're going to be a whole lot of nerding out today.
Yes.
So next up is comics books. How
Yeah.
are you on your comic book knowledge?
I'm
Have
getting better.
you always been a collector, like since
No.
no?
No. So it's a funny story. It's kind of a reverse. I guess it also goes with the time frame of what I grew up in and
Right.
my age. I'm 29 years old. I have to think about it all the time. I'm 29 years old. I grew up in the 90s. I grew up on Batman the Animated Series, the Ninja Turtles cartoon,
Yeah.
the Spider-Man cartoon, the X-Men cartoon. So it was a lot of cartoons. Is
Right.
what got me into superheroes.
Yeah.
I was very cautious to say I was a comic book nerd because I didn't really enjoy reading comic books that much. I liked the movies. I liked the cartoons. I liked the video games. I liked all the theories surrounding these things, but I never really read comic books very much.
Right.
Up until maybe a year or two ago is when I really started to get into. I had read a few comics. I was a big Walking Dead fan. So when I found out it was based on a comic book, I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
so, you know, I read the, they have, I think that there may be, I know there's at least 3 compendiums with the collections of the Walking Dead comics, and
right.
I really got into those. I read 2 of the compendiums. I mean, they're like this thick, so it takes a while.
Right.
But, you know, and I'm a slow reader. Even with a comic book, I'm a very slow reader. I read those for a while. I am currently reading the Crisis on Infinite Earths, DC, the special, comic book event. But I'd say that I started really getting into wanting to read comics and collect comic books because of Alex Ross. I don't know if you're familiar with Alex Ross, the artist.
I'm not.
But he does a lot of like variant covers for special comic book series. I wish there is a comic, I believe, that has like each illustration was drawn by him, but a lot of times he just does the covers and then the other artwork is just normal comic book artwork by whoever does it.
Right.
But they're very realistic, and he uses a lot of actual people as references. So like he, in the 90s, he referenced for fun. Again, bear with me, everybody. I'm a huge nerd when it comes to this kind of stuff. I can't retain a lot of knowledge about anything else except for music and really nerdy superhero things.
Right,
so
exactly.
But in the 90s, there was a comic book run, an X-Men comic book run. I can't remember the title, but Alex Ross did the cover of it, and he actually referenced what's his name from Star Trek? Played Professor Xavier, bald guy. Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
Sorry. Patrick Stewart. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
So he referenced Patrick Stewart a lot. Sorry, I'm going to plug in my... 1 second.
Okay.
Forgot to plug in the computer.
Oh, no.
They wanted to die on me.
Yeah.
So he referenced Patrick Stewart for his portrayal of Charles Xavier, Professor X, for a comic book run that took place in like 94. This is like years before the movie came out. So it's cool that even after the comic book run where Patrick Stewart was referenced as Charles Xavier, he actually became Charles Xavier. And a lot of that was due to Alex Ross and his portrayal of him. So I started collecting because I was like, I love the visual of classic comic book covers. So now I'm, I want to go to comic book conventions. Whenever they start doing those again, I want to go to comic book stores. I want to look for special covers. We have a comic book wall in our living room with a few of my favorite ones just put up: old Batman comics, Avengers comics, the first appearance of Spider-Man, things like that.
Yeah, right.
But what we're talking about today with music involved in it. So now you're taking one thing that I'm very passionate about, music, and have been for forever.
Right.
And something that I'm now starting to get more involved in and kind of diving into, and that's the world of comic books. And merging the two in a way that's just so perfect. I love it. I'm so excited to talk about it today.
Yeah, because I've been collecting comics since I was like 10 or 12 or so. Yeah. And I have like a lot of comics back in my house, back in Sumter, where my mom's attic is. Yeah. And I have like, first appearances like Ghost Rider and the death of Captain America. I've even got Assassin's Creed, which is a video game. They did a comic book of that. But I remember having 2 comics they're music comics. I had one of Guns N' Roses.
Ooh, yeah.
And I had an AC/DC book, comic book.
Yeah, okay.
But they're nothing like graphic novels. They were just plain old regular, the little slim books. It's great. So I found it amazing that you were able to find all these great bands that have graphic novels. So yeah,
and we're only scratching the surface, my friend.
Yes. Yes, we are.
We could go on. We could do a whole separate show just talking about comic books and music. Like honestly, there is so much to unpack here.
Right.
We've got the time to do it today. Thankfully, we're not tied down to like an hour span. We're gonna be able to talk about these but I encourage everybody to go in there and really look up some stuff. Try to get an idea of what we're talking about today. We've got a lot of visuals up here that we're gonna discuss.
Right. So if you go to youtube.com/when words film music speaks, you can see what we're showing you right now.
Absolutely.
Like you said, you have a lot of visuals, so
these are like the covers. I think that's one thing that really draws me. I know it draws a lot of people, but it's something I love. I love a good album cover. I love a good movie poster, and I love a good comic book cover. So like things like this that stand out to me makes me want to go read it, despite the story may suck. But I want to read it because it just looks cool.
But yeah, it's like but before we do this, what happened on this day? Because I know that's your little baby, and you want to talk about that. So let's do that first.
All right, I've got a few notes here for things that have happened on this day, March 29th.
Yes.
Rolling Stone Mick Jagger back in 1966. He injured himself during a gig in, I believe I'm saying this right, Marseille. In southern France, after a fan threw a chair on the stage, and Jagger required 8 stitches in the cut. More notoriously, in March 29th of 1967, a year later, working at Abbey Road Studios, the Beatles finished recording "Good Morning, Good Morning." Then they started working on a new song with a little help from my friends. That's probably my favorite Beatles song, no doubt.
I didn't know that. I could have sworn Joe Cocker. I mean, that's
originally a Beatles song.
Okay, yeah.
It was originally a Beatles song.
I think Joe Cocker brought it to life, more.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's...
And as we've discovered... well, and we've talked about it in Cover Wars. Like,
that's a cover song, so we can...
Doing a cover and making it your own, or completely doing it. Yeah, that's a huge risk. A lot of people are very passionate about Beatles music. So for Joe Cocker to take that song,
Allie's a good Beatles fan.
She does love Joe Cocker's version of it.
Good, great. Because I was like, that was my next question: does she love Joe Cocker? Yeah,
she does love that version of it. I loved it too because it was the theme song for the Wonder Years, which I used to watch a lot of.
Yes.
But it was originally called Bad Finger Boogie.
Okay. Yeah.
But they recorded 10 takes of the rhythm track, and then Ringo overdubbed a double-tracked lead vocal.
That's right. He did sing, didn't he?
Yep. He sang on that. Yeah. And then in 1969, actually, I'm gonna skip right over that one. We'll edit that out.
Okay.
Here we go. There we go. Okay, sorry. So in 1975, LaBelle went to number 1 in the U.S. singles charts with Lady Marmalade. The group's only number 1 British act, All Saints, had a UK number 1 with the song in 1998 as well. But also made a huge comeback in the early 2000s.
Yeah, that's Patti LaBelle's group, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
LaBelle, yeah, obviously, but that's another cover song we can discuss on. I mean, because they did it with Pink, Maya, Eve, Christina Aguilera, and one more person, Lil' Kim. Okay.
Lil' Kim and Missy Elliott.
Right. Yeah. So that's another song we can probably
cover. Have to do that one. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then in 1975, Led Zeppelin saw all 6 of their albums in the U.S. Top 100 chart in the same week.
Nice.
How does that even happen? Alongside their latest album, Physical Graffiti, at number 1. Physical Graffiti has now been certified 16 times platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America for U.S. sales in excess of 16 million copies.
So wait. So how many copies do you have to sell to be on Michael Jackson and Diamond, right?
Yeah,
the Diamond tier.
Yeah, Thriller and I think and Bad
went
Diamond.
And I think I could have sworn this the other day, but I saw that the Eagles surpassed Michael Jackson's.
Ooh, did they really?
Well, technically, you can't claim it because it's like a greatest hits.
Yeah.
Of course, it's gonna. I mean, it's not. I could still consider Michael Jackson's to be, above all other people. So yeah,
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then in 1980, Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon spent its 303rd week on the U.S. album chart, beating the record set by Carole King's 1971 album, Tapestry. The album remained in the U.S. Billboard charts for 741 discontinuous weeks from 1973 to 1988, longer than any other album in chart history. After moving to the Billboard Top Pop catalog chart, the album notched up a further 759 weeks and reached a total of over 1,500 weeks on the combined charts by May of 2006. Rightfully so, because Dark Side of the Moon is an amazing album.
I still gotta watch that in the Wizard of Oz. I still haven't seen it.
So. In 2001, Brian Wilson of Beach Boys fame was honored in a 3-hour tribute at New York's Radio City Music Hall. Guest performances included Billy Joel, Paul Simon, the Go-Go's, and the trio of Carly Simon, David Crosby, and Jimmy Webb. Also singing Beach Boys songs were Ann and Nancy Wilson, Elton John, and Amy Mann. Brian Wilson took himself joined in the fun when he took the stage for the final 3 songs, Barbara Ann, Surfing USA, and Fun.
All great songs.
All great songs.
Barbara Ann is probably my favorite. Well, Kokomo is my favorite. Beach Boys song.
Yep, for sure.
Kokomo, yeah.
One day we'll have to do an episode on music and serial killers. I want to get into something else that I invest a lot of time learning about is true crime.
Right.
But we're getting more recent here, and then we'll wrap up this little segment. But in 2017, George Michael's funeral took place 3 months after his sudden death at the age of 53. 3 months after he died at the age of 53. His family said that a small private ceremony was attended by family and close friends. The coroner's verdict on Michael's death only came 3 weeks before his funeral. Tests were ordered because an initial post-mortem examination was inconclusive. R.I.P. to George Michael.
Yeah.
And then finally here, the last one for today. In very recent, last year, Grammy-winning country music star Joe Diffie died at the age of 61 from complications of COVID-19. Diffie charted 35 singles on the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart, 5 of which peaked at number 1. He also co-wrote songs for Holly Dunn, Tim McGraw, and Jody Messina, and recorded with Mary Chapin Carpenter, George Jones, and Marty Stewart. R.I.P. Joe Diffie. I remember when that happened.
I'm going to call that BS because I knew that he had stage 4 cancer, so that COVID stuff didn't really.
Yeah.
Because last year everybody died because of COVID, and that's certainly not correct. So I'm going to call the total BS on that.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing, man.
Yeah, because he had stage 4, I think lung cancer or some kind of cancer.
Like that,
yeah.
And if he did contract COVID, I'm sure that there were complications.
Yeah, but he didn't say just because of COVID, though.
But he was definitely sick before he got COVID.
Right.
People don't mention that a lot.
No, because I heard that if someone dies of COVID, hospitals get paid a lot more. So,
I've heard that too.
Yeah, so
I've heard that too.
Yeah, so we're going to dispel that rumor right now. I just did. So
you heard it here first.
There you go. Yep, you heard it here first. So
let's get into it, man. Let's talk. Let's nerd out a little bit. Let's really get into this.
So let me bring up the little screen right here, and then we can get going.
Yeah, I'll kind of kick off this little part here. But if you want to read about our first comic book here, there's no doubt that the music industry and the world of comic books greatly influence each other over and over and over and over and over again. What's even more fun is when those two worlds collide and people like James and myself can really geek out about this kind of stuff. But here's a look at some graphic novels that are written by some very notable bands. And again, we're only scratching the surface today. If you really want to take a look at what kind of graphic novels and comic books are out there involving some of your favorite musicians, Z2 Comics is a great page on Facebook that publishes a lot of these great stories. They have stuff from like Machine Gun Kelly, and there's a Jimmy Eat World one that's coming out now. So it's
Right.
just this long list.
And I do have the website for Z2 to Ready to Roll. So after we do all these, we can show them how much more
Sure.
it goes in depth, because I'm loving the combination between music and comic books. That's still my favorite thing of all time. So
Sure. Absolutely.
on your screen, you'll see the Ghost of Ohio.
Yeah.
So while Andy Black's second solo album focused on his experience growing up in Southwest Ohio, the accompanying comic tells the tale of a ghost protagonist who backtracks his own mysterious death. Unraveling themes of love, death, and retribution, the ghost's journey through various characters and attempts to fight his way back to life.
Yeah, Andy Black of Black Veil Brides fame,
Okay. Yeah.
Came out with this really cool looking comic book and an interesting story about trying to figure out who killed you.
Right. Which
really
I
neat.
yeah.
I mean, I really want to read this. It seems like a really cool concept.
Yes. And the artwork is amazing.
Yeah, the artwork is incredible. I'm not a huge Black Veil Brides fan.
I'm not either, to be honest with you. But I do respect them, in our
sure.
they accomplished. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for people. I know that Andy Black is really involved with film as well. He's got one movie that's out. I believe there's like another series or like a web series or a movie or something like that he's coming out with pretty soon. American Satan, I think, was the name of the first movie, and then something like that.
Yeah.
Cool, because it's got a lot of other musicians from bands that are involved with his movies and have like cameo appearances. So,
Right.
that's really cool.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. You want to take the next one?
Yeah, I'll take the next one here. This is the Twisted Tales of the Ritalin Club. For those of you who are not really familiar with Youngblood's music, he's an up and comer. I don't know a lot about his solo stuff. I can probably name you one or two of his solo songs, but he does a lot of collaborations with Machine Gun Kelly. He had a big part in Machine Gun Kelly's most recent pop punk album. Youngblood works with Travis Barker a lot. Youngblood had an appearance on the newest Bring Me the Horizon album on a song called Obey that's really, really good. Yeah. And it just shows you how, versatile this guy is. He can go from the pop punk sounding stuff to, things a little bit more heavy. Don't quote me on this. I know Bring Me the Horizon has changed a lot, but things are a little bit more heavy. Like Bring Me the Horizon, that track is heavy. I will give him that. But yeah, so apparently Youngblood also has a graphic novel called The Twisted Tales of the Ritalin Club. So it lures in readers into its wicked dystopian fantasy. The plot centers on the pupils of Black Heart's boarding school, where Youngblood, so not only did he write it, he stars in it, where he runs the infamous Ritalin Club. Strict rules are enforced at the institution, and failure to comply results in execution. Not you don't get kicked out of school, you die.
You die.
Interesting. I also think that would be a really fun read. Seems like a really cool concept for a comic book, graphic novel, if you will.
Right.
I also went to a very strict school where if you did not comply, then you were executed.
Oh, well, that's enlightening, right?
You were spiritually executed.
Yes. Well,
just kidding.
I don't know if that's a good thing or that's not a good thing.
Very strict school. That's all I'm going to say. It was a very strict school.
Right. So before we get into the next book, which is Orchid, have you ever played Nintendo's wrestling way back when?
Way back in the day, yes, sir, I did. Tell
me that doesn't look like Starman.
It does.
It does.
Absolutely.
That's a great game for anybody who plays Nintendo to pick up. I think it was just called Pro Wrestling and didn't have any other things that it just.
Yeah, I don't know if it was like WWE, if it was whatever.
Right.
I think it was called Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So everybody and their mother likes Rage Against the Machine. If you're highly political, this is your band, right? They're very, very political. This book was written by Tom Morello, the guitarist of Rage Against the Machine. So
Audio Slave, Prophets of Rage, all those
yes,
bands. Just Tom Morello, incredible guitarist.
Great bands. So it's written by Rage Against the Machine's Tom Morello. Orchid explains I can't pronounce that word. Societal societal collapse of a future dystopian world and from the eyes of the Orchid. A 16-year-old prostitute. Wow. Whoops. Okay. Morello introduced us to a crumbling post-apocalyptic society where the rich harvest on the poor, which is true to nowadays.
Yeah.
And the helpless are left to fend for themselves. Amid the mayhem, Orchid learns her self-worth and the horrors of political corruption.
Yeah, it sounds like it could have starred Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, well, the background soundtrack could, easily build this in.
Yeah, no doubt, man. But it also doesn't sound too far off from what we live in these days either. It's not necessarily post-apocalyptic. You still get the rich harvesting off the poor and the helpless to fend for themselves.
But I wonder why he took from the eyes of a 16-year-old prostitute.
Interesting.
That's intriguing. Ooh.
Yeah, I love a lot of Dark Horse comics though. They do a great job with more like adult themed comic books because comic books are not just for kids. You can find some really great, interesting stories from the world of like adult readers too. And Dark Horse is really good about that.
Right.
So that's also another one I would love to check out.
Yeah.
This next one, however, is something I don't really care to check out, and I will tell you why. Because I'm not a fan of Skillet. I used to be. I'm not a fan of Skillet anymore. I'm sorry for those of you who are fans of Skillet. I know that you think just because I
is that because of the most recent thing that he said?
Yeah, he's just. I think that I'm
not sure what he's saying. So can you
Well, I think that John Cooper is just really full of himself to begin with.
John Cooper, you're right.
Here's the thing. I will tell you that I'm usually right when I have an opinion about somebody if something hasn't come out yet, right?
Right.
So, and I'm always this way with any type of Christian figure, okay? Right. So Skillet being a very popular Christian hard rock band who I've seen live, and there are some songs that I do like by them. However, I would not consider myself a Skillet fan anymore because John Cooper has made the most recent. We talk about this a lot on Not Religious. In fact, we did a whole episode about John Cooper. Go check that out. But we talked about John Cooper and his. All right. So there's been a lot of Christian musicians recently who have renounced their faith, and they have said, listen, I don't believe in God anymore. I don't believe in the music that I used to write that was about God. I just, that's not who I am anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And with a certain amount of respect, you have to just say, okay, sure. Yeah. Not chastise them like John Cooper did, where he gets, he gets really full. I've always thought the guy was full of himself. I took one look at him in concert, and I was like, this guy thinks he's the bomb. And so he gets on his social media platforms and he starts calling out, not by name, but calling out these Christian musicians who are now renouncing their faith. And he's saying they were never truly saved to begin with.
Wow.
There's this current generation is just yada, 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 whatever. So like very, very hard. Instead of being supportive, he's very he cut him down really bad.
Yeah.
So I personally don't care for John Cooper anymore. I'm not a fan of Skillet anymore. I've always kind of felt like that there was something off about that guy. Not like controversial in the sense of your normal controversies you hear about. The singer was sleeping with whoever, those types of things. I just always thought he was kind of douchey.
Right.
And I was right.
Yeah.
So after all that, I was like, yep, every single premonition I had about the guy confirmed.
Yeah.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever saw Skillet before. I have seen Skinny Puppy, which is totally, more of a better kind of music than Skillet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got his side project that he does that I actually thought was pretty good. There's one song in particular that kind of sounds like Slipknot, which I thought was very interesting. I can't remember the name of the song, but I just, after all this stuff, John Cooper is just not one of my favorite people. We really get into that discussion of John Cooper on that Not Religious episode. Go check that out.
Check it out.
But featuring all 4 members of Skillet, Eden follows John and Corey Cooper on their quest to save their family and their town, joined by bandmates Jen Ledger. I love a good female drummer. By the way, I will give Jen Ledger every bit of credit that she is an incredible drummer, 100%, despite my thoughts on John. And Seth Morrison, the hard rock quartet, venture through desolate wastelands in the fallen cities of Tennessee in search of hope, redemption, and answers. So there's Christian tie-ins there. That's cool if you're into that. Like that's, I know not everybody feels the same way about that type of stuff, but the artwork, as you can see, is incredible. Like I love the artwork. It looks amazing. I'm just not a fan of Skillet anymore.
Right.
But anyway.
Well, what you just read doesn't sound to me. It doesn't sound like a good book to sit down with. I don't know.
A common theme with a lot of these bands is they do the whole post-apocalyptic thing. I mean, all the stories we've just read about, just now, like a lot of them are post-apocalyptic, apocalyptic, dystopia, what have you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, yeah, right. So, are you a fan of baby metal?
I don't know if I'm a fan of baby metal because I can't name you any of their songs. I know that they gained a lot of followers and recognition because they stood out because they were 3 Japanese ladies in this band. And they did a lot of collaboration in a heavy metal band that did a lot of collaborations with Jonathan Davis from Korn.
And
that's all I can tell you though.
And they sang with Rob Halford from Judas Priest. He really took the back on him,
Sure.
But I personally love the actual band. I'm not too fond of the singing. I don't know why. It's just that doesn't.
Yeah, I mean,
doesn't appeal to me that much. But that's okay though,
Yeah. Whatever you're into, whatever you're not into.
They have a good song called Karate that I think you should check out. Because the music is all there.
Yeah.
The singing goes with the music.
Sure.
But then, like I said before, I'm not a big fan of the singers. Nothing against them, but that doesn't register with me.
Sure.
But is this pronounced apocrypha? Apocrypha. Thank you.
Yep.
Because that's a hard word to say.
It is. It's spelled a little strange, but apocrypha. Yes.
Okay. So apocrypha unveils the epic timeline of the baby metal universe and their long-fought battle between the Vulture God.
Ooh.
The premise is centered on the metal trio fighting the world's antagonistic forces and descendants of the Fox God. That's who they believe in, the Fox God.
Yeah. Traveling
through different time periods to conquer evil and save the world. So this is a good feeling book,
Yeah, absolutely.
And they took the Fox God because that's it's kind of weird because I guess that's their gimmick. It's the Fox God. They believe in the Fox God.
Sure.
And some of their interviews, if the interviewer brings up the Fox God, they do weird stuff. Yeah, so
really into it.
Yeah, big time. But that's good, because I think that every band should be more creative, I guess, and stick out more than others.
Yeah, so, take your art seriously.
But yeah, I have all
completely submerge yourself in it.
Right, and I have all the respect of baby metal that I have, because there's 3 young, well, not young anymore, but females that just overtook the metal genre by storm, and I highly respect them for that.
Sure, absolutely.
So Tom DeLonge made I don't know if he actually did the artwork, but he wrote this.
Yeah. So the Strange Times, The Curse of Superstition Mountain. is the this cover in particular is the Ghost and the Girl, but the Strange Time series is definitely something that Tom DeLonge is passionate about. He loves aliens. He loves aliens to the point that he left Blink-182 to pursue alien research. But with his To the Stars Academy stuff. But Tom DeLonge of Blink-182, Boxcar Racer, Angels and Airways, the whole all his bands.
Right.
My favorite band ever. Tom DeLonge's obsession with aliens and the cosmos is made apparent with his adventurous enterprise in To the Stars Academy and the Secret Machines series. Putting his conspiracy-ridden galactic affinities aside, Strange Times, The Curse of Superstition Mountain is a fun comic about kids documenting paranormal activities with plenty of DeLonge's classic profane humor and hilarity. Basically, dick jokes. I'm just kidding.
Wow. Well,
no, I haven't read this series yet, so I'm not confident in that.
Well, that makes sense because Blink-182 did talk a lot about. They had a lot of jokes, right?
About sexual relations with dogs, grandfathers, what have you.
All jokes, people. All jokes.
All jokes. Yeah, and then they wrote some very serious songs. Which are I think is so funny looking back at their catalog of music. They have. Just like the early days, like the some of the tracks are just hilarious, and then they have like really serious songs like Adam's Song and Stay Together for the Kids and things like that. That's centered around like suicide and like divorce and these really serious, heavy themes that they, things like that. But
right. So I'm gonna let you take this next one because you said you had something to show us too.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna talk about the Umbrella Academy real quick. I'm gonna take this one because this is something that I have recently dove into surrounding Gerard Way. I love My Chemical Romance, definitely one of my favorite bands. Now that I'm getting into comic books, I am also collecting these bad boys right here. Let me get this on the screen there.
Yeah, back it up some. There you go.
There we go. This is actually the third compendium of the Umbrella Academy.
Nice.
I've read the first two. I haven't started this one yet. I love the Umbrella Academy. It is now a Netflix series that's really good as well. Also put out by Dark Horse Comics that does the Orchid series. But from the genius mind of Gerard Way, the Umbrella Academy first made its debut in 2007 with Apocalypse Suite, introducing the fascinating story of a dysfunctional superhero family, kind of like the X-Men.
Yeah.
But they're actually a family. Over the years, the comic book series gained a cult following among fans and the MC Army. Leading to a Netflix adaptation in 2009. And then Dark Horse Comics announced a card game based on the series via a Kickstarter campaign launching early 2020. I don't know if that happened because COVID ruined everything.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still a thing, but I would love to get my hands on some cards based on the Umbrella Academy. Just to tell you a little bit about the Umbrella Academy, this isn't in my notes. This is all from my head because I'm a fan. So there was like one particular day in this story. By the way, he was writing this during the writing process, the recording, the touring process of the Black Parade, just to give you the time frame of when Gerard Way was really into this. But there was all these children that were born on the same day around the world at the same exact time from mothers who weren't expecting. Like it just all of a sudden they were just, 1 minute they're having a conversation like you and I are, and then 30 seconds later they're giving birth. Like it happened that quick.
Wow.
So there's this guy who has a lot of money. He's very crazy rich, kind of a Professor X figure.
Kind of like a Bill Gates.
Yeah. He goes around the world and he starts like collecting these children that were born on this day. He's like, I'll take the baby. So he raises them. He trains them to be superheroes. They become like this team called the Umbrella Academy, as kids. Then the story kind of like jumps forward, several years. They're more adults. They're coming back. They're like reuniting after their father figure passes away. And they have to stop the ending of the world. And a very cool concept. I don't know if you ever watched the Netflix show.
With me, I watch shows over and over and over again. I'm just that kind of guy. So I am definitely going to get around to the Umbrella Academy though. For sure.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's a great series. Allie really loved it too. I told her the concept and was like, you know, the guy from My Chemical Romance, he wrote this comic book.
Yeah.
You know, again, my useless music knowledge just coming in to play there. But so in addition to the Umbrella Academy, though, just to talk about it a little bit, Gerard Way and Sean Simon collaborated for The True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys, a 2013 comic book limited series published by Dark Horse also. The series serves as a sequel to the My Chemical Romance album Danger Days, the True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys, focusing on the followers of the original Killjoys as they try to fight against the tyrannical megacorporation Better Living Industry. So to like total fan service, Gerard Way's like, this is the last album that My Chemical Romance put out. He did it was a concept album that he turned into a comic book sequel tie-in to the album. Really cool. But you know, in addition to this, Gerard Way also contributed to so many DC and Marvel comic books. He was an intern at Marvel for a long time, including titles for known series like Doom Patrol and Spider-Man.
Right.
He's had a lot. His brother has a lot of comic book tie-ins as well. They both kind of work together with different companies on that. But I was listening to the Wizard and the Bruiser podcast. They were talking about My Chemical Romance, and I reviewed it this morning while I was cooking breakfast just to kind of get these ideas and notes fresh in my head.
Yeah.
Gerard Way was really into writing comic books and being, you know, involved with Marvel and things like that. This is before My Chemical Romance ever started. He actually had an idea that he was going to pitch to Cartoon Network about a TV show that sounds like it actually could have been pretty good the day of the 9/11 attacks. So like the sit down interview that they were supposed to do for this big pitch idea got scrapped because of 9/11.
Yeah.
You know, and Gerard Way kind of took that time to be like, you know what? I'm looking around. I'm seeing destruction everywhere. People are dying. People are in shock. They're worried. And I'm gonna quit this and I'm gonna pursue music. So he wrote the song Turnstiles and Skylines, or Skylines and Turnstiles. I can't remember the name of it. It's on the first My Chemical Romance album.
Yeah.
Started the band shortly after that. Turned into what they are today.
Which is great band, you know.
Wonderful band. Yeah. But he still does, you know, the Umbrella Academy. I believe there's still some new editions of the Killjoys, the Fabulous Killjoy stories that are still coming out. I'm not sure. I haven't read those yet. I'd love to. But I was one of those people where, you know, I loved Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge. I loved the Black Parade. And then I did not really care for Danger Days. And I was like, this is how they're going to go out, really? Until I listened to it again. Now I love it. I think it's a great album. Tons of great songs.
Is that their comeback album or are they?
No, they haven't even done a comeback album yet. So they announced that they were reforming on Halloween.
Yeah, because I heard they were around like this is great for, you know, for the many good fans that they have.
Yeah. 2019, they were like on Halloween. They're like, "Yep, we're back." And then they did like one reunion show. They had this whole tour plan, and again, COVID screwed it all up. So. I don't know what the plan is for more.
Come on, 2021, right?
2021, dude. Let's get back to doing some shows. I need to go see this band. But yeah,
cool. Well, Blake, welcome home, buddy. If you don't know who Coheed and Cambria is, you need to reevaluate your music history, your life, because these guys are awesome. Okay,
so incredible.
So. The Armory Wars is an ongoing series of science fiction, comic books, and novels, which is what this is, right?
Yeah.
So, created by Coheed and Cambria's frontman Claudio Sanchez, and published by Evil Inc. Comics. The name also refers to a fictional conflict at the center of the story, which is told across the published works. And is also the primary focus of most of the band's music.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
It's based on their comic books are based on their albums, which all of their albums are concept albums.
Right.
Every single one of them.
Yeah.
And they have comic book tie-ins to each album. I need to read all of these and
I mean,
listen to the albums while I'm reading it. I've got to do it.
right. Well, apparently there's only 2 volumes, so you can keep it easily.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Year of the Black Rainbow and Second Stage Turbine, a Blade, narrates the struggle of Coheed, Killanon, and Cambria, Killanon
Yeah,
against Willem Ryan, the Supreme Trimage, who launches a war campaign with the intent to go to rule over Heaven's Fence.
yeah.
That seems pretty hard to do.
You know what I've heard is that it's very similar to the story of Star Wars.
Okay.
So if you're a fan of Star Wars, the storylines are very similar,
Right.
and that immediately drew me in. I love the artwork. The oh my god,
Yeah.
the cover right there for Good Apollo. I also love that album. Which is the one that features Welcome Home.
There you go. The story arcs and Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth 3, Good Apollo. I'm Burning Star. Is that 4?
4.
Yeah. So Volume 1, Fear from Through the Eyes of Madness.
That's
And
one
yeah.
title. That is all one title. Good Apollo,
Oh.
Burning Star 4, Volume 1, From Fear Through the Eyes of Madness. That is the title of 1.
Oh, okay. So, so excuse me, all, but there you go.
Yeah, it's so long and absurd, but
So they took a step back and said Volume 2 was No War for Tomorrow.
yeah, Good
So-
Apollo. Yeah, Volume 2 is
Long
Good
title,
Apollo and Burning Star 4.
Short title is the second one, but it's just
Yeah.
fine because, Okay, so Volume 2 is No World for Tomorrow, focus on the heroic journey of Claudio Killanon, son of Coheed and Cambria, and his journey to assume the mantle of the crowning, foretold savior of Heaven's Fence.
Star Wars.
That's
There
awesome.
you go.
So, boom.
Star
So,
Wars reference right there. It's basically to start the storyline. So
which makes sense because Star Wars is like they should adapt this into a movie or something. This sounds
yeah,
really
there
awesome.
was talks about that. I think who was it? Somebody, Mark Wahlberg, maybe was interested in bringing that into like either a series for HBO or making it into a movie or something. Mark Wahlberg had something to do with it. He was working with Claudio Sanchez. I don't know where that stands. I'm pretty sure COVID had something to do with it, as it ruined everything last year. But I would love to see this in a live.
Yeah. I don't think Mark Wahlberg could act in this.
No, but I think he's getting into directing.
He is a fairly good actor. Don't get me wrong, but I think he was in Transformers.
Transformers, yep, he was.
Yeah, and he just did not do it for me, dude. I don't. But I love Transformers with all my heart, so it's kind of hard to impress me with anything.
I think he played Jim Morrison though in a movie.
Yes, he did. I think, yeah.
And then you can't forget about the Funky Bunch.
Right. But
Feel it.
but my all-time favorite movie that he starred in was Rockstar.
Rockstar, yeah.
I'm not getting enough of that movie.
Yeah.
That's a loosely true version of Ripper Owens from the band Judas Priest. How he got started. Was happy that they did that, So they did that without his permission.
Ooh.
I guess so.
Oof.
The fifth Beatle, to my knowledge, is Pete Best. That's the first drummer, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So what we're going to talk about now is like graphic novels that are just like about bands. What we talked about before was written by musicians and bands that you like. This is more just stories about some bands. If you're, learning, if you want to learn about, cool stories surrounding fictional or they're for real, surrounding your favorite bands here. This one seems really interesting. The Fifth Beatle. I would like to read this. I'm sure Allie would.
Oh, yeah.
As well. Do you want to tell us about this one, or do you want me to read this?
Sure. I'll tell you about it because I love the Beatles in the Instagram post like 4 or 5 weeks ago. I showed you what I bought, and I bought some 5 albums of the Beatles.
Yeah.
I can't get enough of this band.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, it means so much to me. So the fifth Beatle, in which you're seeing right there on your screen,
Yeah.
it's a graphic novel by writer Vivek Tyree.
Tyree? Yeah.
Tyrwary. No. And artist Andrew Robinson and cartoonist Carl Baker. It debuted in Italy as part of the 10th anniversary of the country's Rolling Stone magazine and was published by Dark Horse Comics in November 2013.
Yeah.
So not a lot of information there. It just told us who wrote it and everything. Yeah. But the fifth Beatle was Pete Best, which was the original drummer before they got Ringo Starr.
Right. Yeah.
So my thought is it's all about him and right because
that's what
because I don't have the
I think this is more around they call it the Brian Epstein story. I believe it's a fictional character. It may be a real. I'm not really sure. I don't know too much about this. It just seems really cool. A nice little comic book fan service to those of us who know a lot about the Beatles or love comic books. So this would be interesting. This next one, though, this one is definitely something that I've got to get my hands on if I can.
Yes, because so I am definitely going to take this because this is the first band.
The Ramones is definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
So Archie meets the Ramones. When the Archies tank at the Riverdale High Battle of the Bands, a magical twist of fate sends them hurtling into the past. And face to face with none other than the Ramones. Can the legendary punks get the Archies to realize their own rock and roll potential and find their way home? Probably not. But it'll be a blitzkrieg bop of a journey as the two bands bounce from 53rd and 3rd to Rockaway Beach in this must-read crossover from the writers of the best-selling Archie Meets Kiss and We Can Never Go Home with jaw-droppingly beautiful art from Gazelle Lagasse of Occupy Riverdale.
I see what they did there.
Right?
What they did there. It'll be a blitzkrieg bop. Okay.
I'm gonna run to the bathroom.
Okay.
Right back.
Yeah. Take your time.
Man, I am sorry. I thought I was
no. Yeah, because
I was trying so hard, and I was like, "Nope, my bladder is telling me you better."
Oh God, he's gotta go. He drink 2 cups of coffee.
3 cups of coffee, a cup of tea, and a whole water bottle. So I was like,
"You are awake, son.
Gotta go right now."
There you go. All right, so back to it. So I see what they did there. It'll be a blitzkrieg bop of a journey. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, these little notes that I have for these are taken from like the Amazon description. I just thought that would be a nice detailed breakdown about what the story entails or whatever. But I have a few of the Archie comics. I don't know how much of a fan I would consider myself of the Archies, but I want to watch Riverdale. I heard Riverdale was really good. Me and Allie love the Sabrina Netflix series that they have out, and all the the little hints at Archie comics. And I have a few Archie comics that I've collected over the past year or so. But the Ramones are very notorious for like loving comic books. They grew up reading comic books. There's a really cool version of the Spider-Man theme song that the Ramones did.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Isn't that cool? And they they did like a music video where they're like playing around with Spider-Man and
right.
Isn't that cool? It's like just the Ramones, they just understood comic book culture.
They did. They did.
Sure.
So
this next one, you need to take this next one for.
I do. I'm going to
take the next two.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Take the next two, and I'll take the very last one.
I love Kiss, and if I had to, I got my very first Kiss record was Dynasty, or no, it was Love Gun, but the first time I heard Kiss was Dynasty.
Yeah,
well, that'll be my all-time favorite record today.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of their music, and I'm a big fan of Gene Simmons because I heard he was a real, butthole to people. But that's okay because if you can,
he's a nice guy now, though. There's a lot of people talking about how nice he is now.
Oh, well, I mean, he's a marvelous. He can sell you anything. If you buy if you can buy Kiss coffins, and pencils and whatever. I mean, you got it made in the shade, with that. So Kiss. So this is about Kiss. This was not written by Kiss. So the book sees the four musicians: Gene Simmons, Ace Frehley, Paul Stanley, and Peter Criss, which is the original four.
The original lineup, yeah.
Right. So they were facing off with the likes of Mephisto and Doctor Doom.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also features cameo from the likes of the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, and the Defenders.
Yeah.
But leave it to the band like Kiss to make the possibility to last an interesting aspect of the story.
Yeah.
While they're known for their theatrical and often blood-dripping wild antics, this was the first time Kiss would literally leave their blood on the hands of the fans.
Yeah.
With the book's cover boasting and it as being printed in real Kiss blood, the promotional idea was to bolster the book sales.
Yeah.
Though even Gene Simmons doesn't remember whose idea it was to actually doing this with blood. So during the 1977 concert stop, the band flew to New York to have their blood drawn and makeup and costume, of course, with the entire process being documented by a cameraman. I never heard about this book.
So you've never heard about this? Okay.
Not the book. Not the book.
Okay, so I remember it was like a VH1 special or something. I remember seeing it's something about Kiss, maybe like Behind the Music or whatever.
Yeah.
But I remember them talking about Kiss getting with Marvel, wanting to put a comic book out. I mean, how can you not look at those guys? Like they're comic book characters. They're walking comic book characters.
Yeah.
And they went to go print it, and they wanted their blood, their actual blood, to be printed in the ink that went into the comic book. So they went and had their blood drawn so they could have their actual traces of blood printed on the pages of these comics that are coming out. I've got to get my hands on one of these.
Yes.
I'm sure it goes for a crap ton of money.
Oh God. Well, anything Kiss is like boom, like paragraph,
Something with those 4 letters on it stamped on the front. It's going to go for a lot. So
yeah. But that reminds me. But that reminds me of and I know who Joey Jordison is.
Yeah.
He did a thing where they took his blood and dipped it into like blood and like they put it on some kind of drumsticks or something.
They put it on his drumsticks. So
yeah, remember that?
Promark, I believe, was the company that he was sponsored by.
Yeah.
But it's a very similar thing. Like they had Joey Jordison from Slipknot.
Right.
Who he doesn't play with them anymore, but one of the most famous drummers for Slipknot. He went and had his blood drawn, very similar, and had it. They put it in the ink that was used to put all the lettering and stuff on the drumsticks. So,
right.
I have some Joey Jordan. I think I have Joey Jordison's signatures. I have a collection of signature drumsticks by some of my favorite drummers. But I can't remember who all I have because I have so many. People give them to me as Christmas gifts and birthday gifts, and I love that. I just don't have anywhere to display them just yet. But, once I get the drum shed done or once I can, I might be able to put it up in here or something. But I'll have to look and see, because if I have it, then it was the same thing. It wasn't just like the limited copies that they made of those sticks actually contain his blood.
Right.
So,
right. And I guess that was the major selling point of those drums, you know.
Yeah.
Because I do have I subscribe to a box company, and it's this is signed by the drummer for Five Finger.
Oh, cool.
That's French, yeah. So I got
nice.
So you can have it if you want to, you know.
Oh,
you can whenever I see you. Whenever I see you, because I haven't seen you in like forever, you know. Basically. Yeah. But Gore. I love Gore. Yeah. So this is not the final cover, as you see there.
Yeah. But you know, talk about bands that are walking comic books. I mean, this is another band that is definitely straight out of a comic book.
I think that these guys are more like the comic book characters than the actual Kiss.
Yeah, for real.
Because if you've been to a live concert, they shoot out blood at you.
Yeah.
Of course, it's water blood, but the whole setup looks like it's straight from a comic book, you know.
Yeah, and to learn more about that, we did a whole episode on Gwar
we did.
Learn about all their antics and controversies.
Okay, so Orgasmageddon.
Orgasmageddon.
Okay. Well, that's a good title, right?
Yeah, it's a great title for it's very Gwar.
Right. That also reminded me of the Motorhead song Orgasmatron, which is a great song too.
Yeah.
So from the depths of outer space to the frozen wasteland of Antarctica, punk rock and heavy metal's most shocking and blasphemous band of intergalactic blood-spewing aliens, monsters, has returned to kill everything and respect nothing in the pages of Gwar Orgasmageddon. Wow, that's something.
How fitting.
Vanished to the past by their cold and calculated Mr. Perfect, which is not the wrestler. The heroes of Gwar trample through time and a danger, like endangered Bill and Ted on basalts. Okay. Antics ensue as they stomp its fashion and shape human history to what we accept as our current reality. So I don't know if I told you this, but Gwar said that they created music.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that, and I believe it.
Yeah, so
I believe everything that comes out of their mouths.
So right, just like Wikipedia, right? For everybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, go back and listen to the Gwar episode. But I think Beefcake the Mighty says that the Odorous, which is not with us today, rest in peace.
R.I.P.
He cut up like a big old dinosaur, and he went through the Grand Canyon, stretched his insides from one side to the other of the Grand Canyon, plucked it, and music was birthed with that one note.
That's how you get it.
That's how music was created. Yeah,
that's how it's done, man.
But I gotta get this because one, it's Gwar, and two, just the sentence alone has returned to kill everything and respect nothing in the pages. That's great because I mean, honestly, they don't really care about getting deemed as because I've heard that I've seen that they quote unquote killed celebrities and politicians, and so they don't really care about anything, which is great because nowadays can't, I mean, so this is
everybody's off limits to Gwar.
No, which I think that everybody's not going after them because when you respect no one. I mean, everything's up for game,
Like South Park, man. They just make fun of everybody. They hate everything, and just kind of have to let them do their thing.
Right, exactly. So I am going to let you take this very last comic book.
Woo, man, this is exciting. I love the Devil Wears Prada. I know that their music has changed drastically within the last album or two that they've come out with, but I still love this band. and there I have plenty of years of music to go off of to continue to listen to. That holds a special place in my heart. And one of those EPs that they came out with, that was called Zombie, definitely had a very, very special place in my heart because it was around the time that I was really, really into The Walking Dead. So zombies were everywhere. It was 2011, I believe, and zombies everywhere you went. It was just Walking Dead was huge. Therefore, everything that came out was zombie related, and I was for it, man. I love horror stuff. So you're mixing horror, comic books, music, a comic book starring one of my favorite bands fighting zombies. How can I not love it?
Right.
So the Zombie EP comic was a limited edition, traditional sized comic book based on the fictionalized adventures of metalcore band The Devil Wears Prada. That was bundled with the band's upcoming EP, Zombie. So let me read a little more about this first.
Okay, yeah.
So the 14-page Zombie EP comic was written by J.L. Bourne, who penned Day by Day Armageddon, a zombie novel, which I also have 2 of those books, the Day by Day Armageddon. Started reading the first one. I never finished it. I wish I had. I've still got them. I probably will start reading those up again. But it was very good. Considered to be one of the best zombie novels ever written, and tells a story of 5 combat soldiers armed with a high-tech arsenal and a perilous top-secret mission in a harrowing world infected by zombies. So you've got the Devil Wears Prada geared up in SWAT attire, fighting off zombies, and it just fit very well with the 5-song EP that came out that was all about zombies. It has this great opening, you can hear the warning. One of the songs has like the warning playing over the news. So it's like, please stay indoors. Anyone can be infected at this point. And it's very chilling. And then they just rip right into it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever listened to that, but the Zombie EP is so good.
I need to go back and listen because I love zombies, but I don't understand how the people of The Walking Dead can survive 10 years now.
Oh yeah, I would have been gone. Like for the record, I don't claim to that I would be able to survive in the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah,
very long. I think it would not take me long because my survival skills are crap. And I probably, depending on what kind of zombies, I may be able to outrun them for a little bit.
Yeah,
but if we're talking like Day of the Dead or like 21 Days Later,
the sprinters,
I'm screwed. Like 100%.
Right.
But if we're talking like Walking Dead, traditional, George Romero zombies,
you can just
I might be good for a little bit.
Yeah.
But the survival skills alone would be what kills me. But, as I was telling you before we started recording, I have this, and you can't find it anywhere. You cannot find these to buy anymore because it was a limited edition run that came out with the you could buy like the bundle package for the Zombie EP that was out.
Right.
And so I have a copy of this comic book at my mom's house somewhere. I need to put it up. I need to save it because you cannot find them anymore. I actually read it, I went through and actually read every panel.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's where, the comic book collectors are probably like, what? You actually opened it? I did. I read it. And, I know it won't be in perfect shape, but the fact that it's not available anymore, I've got a piece of history somewhere. I know the Devil Wears Prada is not the biggest band in all the world or anything, but like something that you can consider a limited edition run, can't find it anywhere. I've got a copy of it. Are you kidding me? That's so so cool. And it just the EP, the comic, everything fits so well with how I was what I was really into 10 years ago. So this just this was me. This was me, man. Like you wanted to get me like the perfect Christmas present.
That's it, right?
This was it. Yep. But thanks for letting me nerd out a little bit on here with you today, man. We're going to talk about Z2 Comics here too.
Yeah,
so everybody can kind of get an idea. Why don't you tell us about Z2?
So Z2 is a website, Z2Comics.com. You can go through and you can get more of these novels we just discussed. I think these are written by the band, right? These are not.
I think so. Yeah, I think the All Time Low and the Machine Gun Kelly ones. That as you can see there's some Cypress Hill comics. Jimmy Eat World has one. Blondie,
Cypress Hill.
Cypress Hill.
Your homeboy Machine Gun Kelly has one.
Machine Gun Kelly. Sublime. There's an Elvis one. There's an Anthrax one.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, man.
I ordered this one.
Yes, tell me about that.
So this is Einstein Kill. Einstein Kills. And for anybody who doesn't know of this band, this is a must hear band.
Yeah, for sure.
They have their first album. I think it was their first album. It's called The Silver Scream.
Yeah.
And what they do was they take various movies and write about them. And my favorite song on that one is called. It's about a Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called right now, but it's amazing.
Yeah, they're all the songs were inspired by horror movies. The cover of the album looks so cool. It looks like one of those classic horror movie posters.
Right. And the reason why I love this one is because this you get the book inside of this cover right here, and this cover looks like an old VHS cassette, right?
Yeah, that's so cool.
And then if you order the deluxe version, you get the record too of the Silver Scream, and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta have it.
So you got the deluxe.
I got the deluxe, yes sir.
Cool.
And then I got I bought the Dio because he's my all-time favorite Black Sabbath singer.
Right.
I do it on our YouTube channel because I got the Dehumanized album, and I stated how much I love Dio here. Mm-hmm. And you can get the deluxe edition, and I think that's the deluxe edition cover, right? So I mean, with this website, you can go through and just pick out your favorite band, pick out your favorite comic. Like I said before, they got Anthrax. They have let's see here, they got Dio, like I just showed you. I mean, they got like so many different. There's the cover that we just talked about earlier.
Yeah, the Eden cover that we talked about. Right. The Gorillaz. There's a Jim Morrison or the Doors novel there. Electric Century. That's what we were talking about before. Electric Century. Mikey Way from My Chemical Romance. Gerard Way's brother. Mikey Way is very involved with the Electric Century comic books that are coming out. I think they both collaborated on some Doom Patrol, like newer Doom Patrol stories that are coming out.
Yeah.
But this has just been so fun to blend the world of music and comic books, something I'm very passionate about. I've also got my Marvel coffee cup.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Tea out of today. So I went full on nerd. I love this world. I love this losing yourself, not only in music, in concept albums and music in general, but losing yourself in a world, a fictional world of comic books and superheroes and aliens and monsters and things like that.
Right.
And it's cool to see with things like the MCU and the Snyder cut of the Justice League, like becoming such a popular thing because people are like, oh, these stories are cool. And it's like, yeah, we've only been telling you that for decades, that these are cool stories. And now because you've got A-list actors that want to play these roles, you're finally understanding it. But, Allie really understands my nerdum. She gets that I like really dive into these stories, and we watch a lot of YouTube breakdown videos of episodes of, the WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier and like trailer breakdowns and stuff. So for her to understand that that's how I am about that kind of stuff, and she shows an interest in it too. It's a really cool bonding thing for us. And then now you've got things like this, like, I'm gonna tell her, hey, they got a graphic novel about the Beatles.
Yes.
And she loves to read. I'm sure that's going to be something she wants to.
I'm sure, and
check into. So,
and I'm gonna unbox them, and then when I get the Dio and the Einstein Kills, that's going to go up on our YouTube channel too.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
You're making headways with your YouTube channel, because I noticed you got a lot of drum.
I've got a lot of drum playthroughs up there right now. I realized that I actually do have a URL for my YouTube channel, because back in the day, whenever I made my YouTube channel, you could do that. See, now you have to have a certain amount of views, but back in the day, if you created one, you could just make it whatever.
Right.
So I have one. It's just kind of embarrassing because I didn't really know what to think of. So it's like youtube.com/Moseley, MOSELEYYY. It's like Moseley.
Moseley.
I don't know. I just didn't know what to think of. 10 years ago, so I was just like extra wise. How about that?
Yeah, because nowadays they expect you to have at least over like 100 subscribers before you can edit this. And back then, it's like, you know, you could do a lot more back then than you can now on YouTube, which is not, you know, I don't really like it, but you know, who knows?
Yeah. So while you're checking out our YouTube channel, if you want to check out mine and watch some of my drum playthroughs, I'm working on making that better. I'm working on getting equipment to record at church that actually features the music that you can hear in my in-ears that I've got.
Yeah.
Shout out to All Clear Audio. They do a great job with like custom molds for in-ear monitors. But I'm working on getting some equipment to where you can actually hear what I hear, so you can hear the tracks hear the drums like actually EQ'd. You can hear the other musicians that I'm playing with. Unfortunately, you're also going to be able to hear the click track. I don't think there's anything I can do about that. So bear with that. But I'm working on making that better. That's something I've been wanting to do for a while. When I finally get my drum shed done, I'll start doing some drum covers.
Yes, we gotta have you gather some drum covers too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you all for listening to this episode on YouTube and a podcast on Apple Podcasts. Be sure to follow us on all our social medias. Instagram at When Words Fail Music Speaks Pod, POD. On Facebook, WWFMS Podcast. Twitter, which I'm still getting used to.
Yeah.
It's When Words Fail MS, and you could always email us at whenwordsfailpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
So, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter. It's Blake_Moseley, MOSELEY, as seen here if you're watching the YouTube channel.
Right.
On my Instagram, I've posted a link to my YouTube channel if you wanted to check out my drum playthroughs that I've been doing. But again, that's youtube.com/Moseley, MOSELEYYY.
That's 3 Ys.
3 Ys.
Yep.
Also, you can go check out Not Religious. We mentioned them a few times on this episode, where you can find out about John Cooper and how much of a douchebag he is on one of our episodes on there. Wherever you find your podcasts, subscribe to this podcast as well. Leave us a rating and review.
Please do. It helps us.
It helps us out a ton. It really does.
It does.
We want this thing to get bigger and bigger. We want to have bigger names on here and do some cool interviews for you guys. Very excited about an interview we have coming up. Unfortunately, had to get rescheduled this week. But we're going to be interviewing Darren Marlar from the Weird Darkness podcast. This guy is one of the most professional podcasters out there. And it'll be cool to kind of pick his brain a little bit about music in relation to like depression and anxiety and things like that.
Right.
Very exciting interview that we're definitely ready to do. We had to reschedule this week, unfortunately, but that'll be coming out soon here.
Nice. So everybody, once again, thank you for listening to this podcast, and always remember, listen to more music. Doesn't matter what it is, just dig what you dig,
whatever makes you happy, and then read comic books at the same time.
There you go. Okay, everybody, thank y'all. Bye.